What's up guys, back with another video. I am back from my little mini YouTube vacation. I think this is the longest I've gone without uploading, so glad to be back. Let's get into it. This video is on the ego is false, completely false. It's not real. It exists, but it's not real. I've talked about the difference between something existing and not being real. You know, like your thoughts, for example. They exist, but they're not real. They're not real in this material world, right? Like you can't touch your thoughts. You can experience them, but they're not in actuality. So when I say the ego exists but it's not real, I'm mainly saying that it's a construction that you've made up throughout your life. It's the way in which you've thought about the world, the way in which you've constructed your self-identity, and the different beliefs you've subscribed to throughout your life. Ego is really who you think you are. This sense of separate self you have from the world, like, you know, the difference between you and me, the difference between you and the person right next to you, the difference between maybe you and a family member, you and a friend, you and anybody really. The reason why the ego is false is because it can be shifted and shaped however you want, really. You aren't just your affiliations or your religion or how you dress or the music you listen to. Even though that stuff holds sentimental value to you, and it's great to have that. It's great to have causes you support. It's great to have senses of community, senses of belonging. It's great to see yourself a certain way. These are all constructions that you've created, and they're really arbitrary, right? Like, throughout your life, if your life didn't turn out exactly how it turned out currently, you'd be a different person. Seriously. Like, the events that happen in your life shape your ego, and it changes. Through times, your ego may shift and change. Maybe your mindset changes and shifts. But at a certain point, a lot of people do get rigid, and they start thinking a linear way, and their belief systems are held very closely to them. And so much so to the point where you can't make a distinction between between the belief system and you. Let's say, for example, you enjoy advocating for climate change, and I come up to you, and by the way, disclaimer, climate change is very important. This is just an example. I come up to you and I say, oh, climate change, that's not that big of a deal. I mean, those ice caps down there, they look fine. They don't look like they're melting. There's plenty of ice caps. You're wasting your time with that climate change stuff. So when you hear me say that, you may get triggered if you are someone that is a huge advocate of climate change and someone that wants to do something about the direction in which Earth is heading, right? Me saying that, you will not, if you identify as someone that advocates for climate change, me saying that will trigger the hell out of you. And it will feel as though I'm attacking you instead of me just disagreeing with the viewpoint of advocating for climate change. So you cannot separate yourself and climate change. It's you. So when I say something about climate change, you think let's say your name is Sally or whatever, or your name is Joe Bob. If I say Joe Bob, I don't see the importance of climate change. I think it's blown out of proportion. You will think I'm saying, I don't see the point in you. I think you're blown out of proportion. That's what you interpret it as, because your ego mind is identified with that topic, and I am disagreeing with it. Now I am attacking you, and you feel a certain type of way about it. So this is what the ego does. In one sense, it can help you really find a sense of purpose in the world, and that's amazing. That's great, and help you advocate for change in the world. But it can create suffering in your life, because the moment that it's challenged or it's a little pointed out in a certain way you don't like, you start getting upset. You start feeling pain, and you feel bad about me saying that thing about climate change. So you start saying, oh my God, oh, Jem is so ignorant. Oh, how could Jem say something like that? How could he do that? And then you start just replaying this over and over and over in your head. And, you know, before you know it, you're kind of pissed off throughout the day and things of that nature. Because you're in your ego. Yeah. So you see how it's a double-edged sword? If you don't manage it or watch how you identify with things, everything's going to run you. I mean, you see people just identify with every little thing they agree with. It's them. In a couple years, there can be a version of you that no longer cares for climate change. You may not see it because, well, you really believe in climate change right now. But think about yourself 5 years ago. There are some beliefs you held probably really closely that you don't really hold on to as much now. You see how the ego can shift and change, and how it's false. It's completely false. It's completely false. You can mold it as you like. But you as just a human being, you know, an entity that we call a human being, you can't really morph into like a dinosaur or a horse or a lizard, or you can't morph into a tomato or a hair comb, or you can't morph into a lamp, right? You just can't. This, whatever this is what it is, and it just is. There's nothing really to it until you start subscribing or prescribing things for it to identify with. This kind of coincides with, oh, what's the meaning of life? Like, why are we all here? What's the point of us being all here? It really is up to you, and it's really whatever you want it to be. But at a bottom line level, you just are here just to be here. Like, it just is. Everything just is. The meanings we give things come from us, and the egos we create. And that's why everybody's so unique and different. Everybody has different egos that they've created, so they have different meanings for everything. But at the bottom level, we are just here to be. That's it. And you may be like, oh, that's a little too simplistic. There's no way in hell. We're just here to just be. No. We have to work all our lives, make money all our lives, get the best relationships, get the best body. We have to be popular, famous. We have to drive Maseratis and Lamborghinis. We have to start big tech companies. We have to have great friends. We have to have all the newest technologies and video games and iPhones and Androids. You think it's these things. I mean, it's really not. These are all things created in society. These are all labels created. Okay? I'm not saying they're all bad. I'm just saying they're all false. That's all I'm saying. They're all things that you can choose and mold yourself to however you want, and anybody can do it. It just goes to show you. But you as this human being, or whatever this is, that we call human, you can't just morph into like anything you want. You just are in this human body. You just are. There's no ego. Like when you were first born, there wasn't really an ego yet. You were just a blank slate. You just came into the earth, and then as you, in order to survive with these people you call your family that take care of you, in order to survive, right, you had to agree with kind of how they viewed the world or saw the world, because they're the ones that are taking care of you. So you agreed and identify with whatever belief systems they agreed with. So because of that, you started internalizing those beliefs, and it became you as you got older. Now maybe there's some beliefs you didn't agree with, and then you changed it and just switched it in with another one. And this created your ego. So this is a very key thing to keep in mind, and it's kind of difficult to grasp, especially when you're really warped into societal masks and things of that nature. If you want a good example of this, watch my video titled "How Your Societal Role Limits Your Growth." Just internalize that, and remember that we're all egos, right? I'm not bashing the ego. I'm not bashing that. I'm just saying there's a distinction between what you identify with and you. You are not what you identify with. You aren't what you like. You aren't what you hate. You aren't any of that. These are just things that resonate with you, but they're not you. I hope you're able to follow along with this video. It can be kind of really nuanced and something you kind of have to think about, especially if you're someone that has always just thought, oh, I like this, I don't like that, this is me. If you haven't already, click the subscribe button, and like, share, subscribe. Leave a comment below if you have any video suggestions or something to share. Guys, I appreciate the support. Shout out to new subscribers. Everyone take care of yourselves and have a good one. Peace.